stopped around that time, and I don't really know Tema, so most of the time we end up using the map, because then community 1 here, community 8 there, you get what I mean? So, and I was not driving by then. My manager was driving. So we actually got stopped by the police. So when they came
in
close,
Tema?
yes.
Which
When
of the communities?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like the communities.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. And when we got stopped, they were like they signaled like they gave a signal for some time, but we didn't stop.
With their touchlights?
Yes, because we were using
around what time was that?
it was around 11 going to 12, like that time. It was a bit late. Because then I had to make it to a studio around East Legon that way. So they started questioning my manager. But most of the time, I have to be a bit reserved.
Were you over speeding?
No.
Did you have an unregistered plate?
Yeah, we were using a DV. That's it. We were using a DV. So they asked for the necessary requirements, which they were given. But then I think it ended up they were back and front with my manager. I was sitting in the car with the other guys. And I couldn't sit and watch. Because at the end of the day, he's there because of me. And he's my team, he's my blood. So definitely when I heard the shouting and all of that, I came out. And sometimes when stuff like this happened, tempers go high. It might be my fault, it might be their fault, but then because they don't want to listen to me. And then one thing that we should all know is most of the time, like our community, no disrespect to the police or any big man. When they see people in locks, they actually judge before they ask questions. That's like general, because then we don't come from Jamaica. But then you should know that as much as the person has this look, you would have to go on further to ask, who are you? Or what? But then if you're given the right answers, it ends there. There has been a time that we were driving from, I think, Accra to Volta. When we got stopped, these police guys had to check the whole car like for full 30 minutes to an hour. Later, they had to check they said I should open the bonnet. And when I did, they said they're charging me for dirty bonnet, which was quite sad. You get what I mean? So, sometimes...
They were charging you for
dirty bonnet.
Dirty bonnet.
Yes.
That your bonnet was dirty.
Dirty. So...
the engine area, you mean?
Yes.
So they opened it?
They opened it. And that's what I'm saying. Most of the time, because they see us with this look, they end up like going beyond, because then they have to set the whole car and then they don't get anything. So what happened is it's quite sad that the video had to trend like within the next few hours, but everything was solved there. Like I actually, my tempers went high a bit, but I became submissive because then I also looked at the other side of it. But then I didn't know how the video really got that.
So when you came out of your car, what was your first reaction?
There was, I mean, if you're in my shoes, you would actually understand that you're working with people, and then where we actually were is not somewhere that I know, and then like now, things, Charlie, you can't trust anybody. You get what I mean? So in the quest of trying to find what was really happening, that's why I said my tempers also went high, because then there was a little bit of
so what did you actually do? Your tempers went high. Did you slap someone? Did you physically abuse someone?
There was no physical abuse there, but it was this back and front, like, and then anybody who knows me know I'm quite cool, but then sometimes can't treat by any. So my guys had to push me a little bit. But
I hear you have anger issues.
A little bit.
Yeah.
That's why I don't really, most of the time I try to stay
to be cool.
You get me? So I had to be submissive, and being the leader of the team, that is what actually came out, because on a regular day I would have just stayed in.
So why was the submissive episode handcuffed, and he came across like he was being attacked?
So that's what I'm saying. It's not as if there was any fight or anything. Now, when I came out of the car and then I was trying to solve, that's what I'm saying, that most of my team guys are in locks and all of that. So that kind of mishandling was a bit there. And when I got into it, my heart calmed, because then I couldn't understand why we had everything checked, and then like there was a little bit of delay.
So why were you handcuffed? Because I know these days the police are even soft on DV plates.
I know it wasn't
to the best of my knowledge. I think I've used a DV plate for the past almost some 6 months.
So that's what I'm saying. We were a bit wrong too, because then I know DV plates uses 2 people. Right?
Oh, like even these days they are soft on DV plates.
But it's not everybody. You get what I mean? It's not everybody, and that's what I'm saying. It's not really about the car or anything. It's just that tempers went high, because then it was becoming. Anytime
there is a handcuff issue with the police and the civilian, it means either someone was trying to resist arrest.
That's what I'm saying. So I personally, at a point in time, I also lost control of my temper. You get what I mean?
You were scattering things?
Not really, but then I got pissed. I really got pissed. So
to the extent that the people who got out of the car first, they were not handcuffed, but the person who came out of the car last was handcuffed.
Brasami, the thing is, just like I'm saying, these people around me, or if I see somebody beating a fan, episode fan, I can't stand and watch. You get what I mean? If somebody is even imagine me performing, somebody's trying to push an episode fan, the person is there because of me, and these people are, as much as they're working for me, they are alive at that moment. It didn't mean my day, because then we all moved out in the name of the brand Episode.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So that made me actually come out
to react.
So you get what I mean? And that's
so are you admitting that you did something wrong by overreacting on the night?
Yeah, I'll take it from 2 angles. I would say that I did my part of it, but then sometimes I feel like the officers too sometimes need to calm down when it comes to these things. And as much as maybe tempers go high, because then I feel like I'm right, he feels he's right. You get what I mean? So that was where the whole thing didn't really go down well. So, and just like I said, this thing has actually enlightened me so much when it comes to stuff like this, because I feel like most of the people even there in the prisons right now are wrongly convicted. You get me? And then it might be just a little thing, but imagine, just imagine that as we move, then they call the next police station to say that there are some armed robbers here who are in locks using this DVD. Because there's been instances where police people plot things in cars. You get what I mean?
Yeah, we've heard that before.
You get what I mean? So I'm saying this based on 2 sides, that we pray that, or we plead with some of these officers that when they meet some of these young youths, sometimes they should go the right direction. And then we also, the ghetto youth or the people on the street, sometimes needs to cool down to solve issues rather than...
So did the case end up in any police station or something?
Actually, funny enough, it actually ended there, like 5 minutes.
They took the handcuff off you?
Yes, because later they got to know who I was. And the one of the police was a big Episode fan. But then he didn't see the face painting. You get what I mean?
So he was confused.
Exactly. So he ended right there. But then my phone was off that time too, because then we were like moving around the whole day, and then we had to go to the studio to work at a new studio, Guard 1. So when I got home, we got home around 3, 4, and we just all passed out. So I didn't really touch my phone till like the next...
You mean you slept?
Yes. So like the next, like, it wasn't really midday, but then and not pack a cry. It wasn't really, my phone was buzzed. My dad even called, my mom called from London and everything. Like, yo, this is what's happening. I was like,
so you don't have an idea of who recorded the incidents?
No.
Was it any of your team members?
No, I think it was a fan.
A fan?
It actually happened around a filling station though. So I think the person was, I don't know if the person was buying fuel and then he saw what happened. So when I even watched the video and listened to it, the episode that. So the person himself wasn't really sure. You know, at the early stages, I wanted to actually cover up and say, no, it's not me. Because the person really wasn't sure. People can look like me. But then, come to think of it, like, why don't I use this platform to also educate people and tell people that, yo, stuff like this is really happening, and then we need to be careful about these things. Imagine that the reason why I actually became submissive, imagine that it went to a level where they had to pull their guns and fire. Like this, I don't go sit here, they talk, what are they talk? You get me? So, yeah, it happened, but I want to really use this platform to thank everybody who has been supportive and big up the real Episode fandom.
I see. It is not over though. We'll come back to it. Hey.